because I've been answering a lot of phones lately. And I said, all right, now, Corey, we're excited. We're looking forward to earning your business. And I'm also looking forward to bringing on another marketing representative to my company. And he's like, oh, man, I'd love to be able to, I know a lot of people in the community, I'm happy to help you out, spread your name.
Welcome to the Landscape Cafe and part 4 in this series.
Not a fan of damage the hurricane has caused at all.
So. Right. I totally stand with you there, man. We had one of our clients out on the beach, Edison Beach House. It's the first hotel on the right side on the water after the Fort Myers Beach Pier. It's basically the closest hotel to Fort Myers Beach Pier. And man, they got wrecked. They got totally, over 100,000 plus of landscaping destroyed. Not only that, that's probably the smallest of their concern, but the whole bottom floor, they had breakout walls, and thankfully it's a family-owned business. I really love working with them, but the father that has now passed away, he actually had the builder put breakaway walls. So if there was anything like this to ever happen, there were certain breakaway walls that would break but not damage the actual foundation of the 4 or 5 story building. And it was absolutely crazy what the damage that was done, but it was so awesome to see that forethought and say, hey, one day I know this is probably going to happen. The father got wisdom, and now they're starting to rebuild, starting to get back. But it's just crazy, the devastation out there. Long story short, we were out there a week after the hurricane passed. As soon as contractors were allowed out on the island, we were out there the first day at 4:30 a.m. in traffic, one of the first trucks to go over the bridge, because we knew we wanted to get over there and get going. And the first entire week that we were there, we were cleaning sand off of the parking lot. I'm talking a big 540. It's got 4 big wheels, basically a big front loader with a 1 yard bucket on the front, 1 cubic yard bucket, which is considerably large, and just taking scoops out of the parking lot, bringing them out to the side of the road for FEMA to pick up and transport. And it is incredible the damage that was caused by that storm along the coastline. But so how does that apply to us? We cleared that out, got them cleaned up. We took some of the obviously there's no landscaping left, but the remnants of what it was, we raked, cleaned up. And then we also took out about 3 or 4 inches of soil. So after all the sand was gone, there's a few feet of sand. Then we went subsurface, took about 3-4 inches of soil out, clearing that out, put down some compost from MW Horticulture, got a big old semi truck dump load there. We spread it all out. And then we hired you guys. I didn't know exactly what we needed to do, but I know the compost is going to help neutralize the pH level of the soil a little bit. And that always does what it does. But I knew there had to be external stuff. There had to be some chemicals or something that we had to put in there. You want to explain a little bit about, I hired you, paid you to do it. I don't know exactly what needed to be done, but I knew that for the customer, we needed to get you out there and your expertise. You want to explain a little bit about what you did there and what that does to the soil?
Yeah, so we just generally put in a granular to neutralize the salt. So goal is try to get that salt neutralized. Obviously, you guys did everything right regarding bringing the soil you brought, washing water through it whenever you got the irrigation back on. And then on top of that, using the product we use so we put in the granular that neutralizes the soil at 1,000 square feet per bag. And the good news is that if you're going to invest all that money in new plants and new landscaping, it's just good to do something to neutralize that salt, because you don't want to have a problem with plants, because that is so expensive compared to putting a little bit of material to neutralize some salt.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge proponent on spending that extra little bit of money to make sure that it's done right. There's so many times where I have these customers who Well, I don't have those customers, but I always like to mention that because those customers usually don't get past kind of our qualifying phases in our business where we let them know up front, hey, our minimum starts here. But I hear of all these other customers who just want it done for cheap, just want it done.
Yeah, if you got salt damage and you didn't do any salt remediation, you can't warranty that landscape.
Right, exactly. And there's so many clients out there that just want affordable landscaping, and I get it and understand that. But if we're gonna do this right, it's expensive. It's expensive for us to pay the right guys out there.
It can't be good for a company's name to go out there and do a property, not do the proper, basics, and then have plants die, and then to warranty it or to not warranty it just can't be good for your name.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, there's times where sometimes I'm 30% more than other companies, and the customer will come back to me. They'll say, "Hey, I love, whether it's Cole, Austin, or myself, I love working with you guys. I can tell you guys have your stuff together. You guys have been great, but your estimate is 30% higher." And I say, well, first off, it's a proposal. It's a proposal for Pure Landscaping to do the work. They gave you an estimate to do whatever that, but Pure Landscaping, we're doing different. It's a proposal to install compost, make sure that the soil is proper, put in any fertilizer that needs to be done. And those two pieces right there are things that are missed out by a lot of contractors. So they can get 30% cheaper. But they'll be like, I got three estimates, and they were right around the same price, but you're 30% more, or whatever we end up being more. And it's just that simple conversation of explaining, hey, I'm not going to cut corners on your property. I love what I do. I need to be able to sleep in my bed super comfortable because I think about all of my customers. I think about them all the time, and I want to make sure they're happy. But even if I'm more, and sometimes I'm cheaper. I mean, there's other companies that are way more expensive. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're proposing to do, but I know that I'm proposing a good, fair job, and I'm not cutting corners where corners need to be kept full. And those little things like bringing you guys on, subcontracting you under our belts to neutralize the salt in the soil, man, huge asset to our clients, and also to the value that we can bring. Because I don't have the license to do that. I don't have the time to think about how much to do, or the manpower, and that's why it's so important for us to have either the subcontractors or other vendors that we recommend if we're not doing a project, to recommend to other clients that we may not even work with but need your services. It's so important to have a bandwidth of people and companies that do what they say they're going to do and honestly love the industry, to be able to carry out our mission and of serving our clients. So
one thing that really gets me is that every client is a referral source, and each interaction is so important. The point of contact all the way through to the whole project, like you guys do. A lot of things that some people miss in the landscaping world, I think, is kind of, just like you said, where you kind of throw plants in, keep on going, low margins, keep rolling. But you don't get the referrals off of that as much as you would off of someone who actually does a really good job. And long-term referrals too. I mean, I'm in my early 30s. You're in your upper 20s, and so I think that cultivating a healthy stream of happy clients is the best referral source you could get. And if you don't have that in your wake, you are going to be pedaling really hard in life to get that bike uphill.
Absolutely. I totally agree that. I told that to a customer the other day, and I spent an extra couple minutes on the phone just chatting with them because I've been answering a lot of phones lately. And I said, all right, now, Corey, we're excited. We're looking forward to earning your business. And I'm also looking forward to bringing on another marketing representative to my company. And he's like, oh man, I'd love to be able to, I know a lot of people in the community, I'll be happy to help you out, spread your name. And that's the mentality. And a client, when they hear that, I hope they know that they're going to get served amazing. Like as long as they're fair and reasonable with us, we're going to be very fair and reasonable to them and do a great job for them. So it's to work with a small local business in our area. is so rewarding for that client and for that family and families, people under us in our business working with us, supporting them. So it's a different and unique feeling when you hire a local family-owned company rather than the big wholesome corporate companies that are all across America. That's for sure. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for talking with me, man. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your value that you bring to the conversation. And I'd love to have you back maybe towards the middle of this upcoming year, and we can continue the conversation about fertilizer.
Love it, man. I thank you for having me on. It was a very big pleasure, man. And then we'll have a bright future together.
Awesome, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
We hope you've enjoyed this series. Don't forget to subscribe, because before you know it, we'll be back with another great conversation. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. The Landscape Cafe is a production of Pure Landscaping and the Niche Podcast Network. Learn more about Bailey, Katie, and the team by visiting purelandscaping.com.